And now on the BBC World Service, the third in our series, What Can I Say? This week, Gary Bryson is waiting to catch a train at Hue Lampong railway station in Bangkok in Thailand during the recent political unrest. And everybody on the train is wearing a red shirt.
The train is waiting at the station. It's absolutely jam-packed full of people in red shirts. They've opened the windows, they're all hanging out saying goodbye.
Last week, I was in Cambodia, where the violence of the recent past has had a profound effect on what people will say openly. Today, I'm in Thailand, which is going through a period of political and social unrest. Demonstrations occasionally flare into violence, most notably early last year, when the centre of the capital, Bangkok, became a battleground, sealed off for weeks with many dead and injured. It's a worrying time for Thai newspaper editor Kavi Chongkitavorn of The Nation newspaper.
We have to compete with Twitter. We have to compete with bloggers. We have to compete in Thailand with citizen journalists. And whatever happened now is we have extreme journalists that gain the attention. Why? Because mainstream journalism is very bland.
More from Kavi in a moment. But for now, welcome to Hue Lampong railway station in central Bangkok for this BBC-ABC co-production. I'm catching a train full of people wearing red shirts, and wearing a red shirt here is a political statement. We're off to Ayutthaya, a city of temples and elephants, where thousands of other red shirts are gathering for a rally.
Well, so we're trying to get on the train now. It's incredibly packed, and I'm just squeezing my way through the doorway here.
And in a sea of cheering red, we trundle out of the station. While we're on our way to Ayutthaya, let's hear some of the background to the reporting of these demonstrations. Here's Kavi Chongkitavorn again.
I think there's a lot of soul searching in Thai media now as to what would happen in the next political crisis. We have to make sure that we are not part of the conflicting party. This part is very difficult. I think Thai journalists, some of them are pretty confused, and I think they need to do soul searching.
The main papers here do tend to be bland or tied in with business and political interests. And it can be dangerous for reporters. Provit is also with The Nation.
I wouldn't say it's as dangerous as in the Philippines. Luckily, I think that lethal culture of killing journalists is not very deep-rooted here. Though some journalists, especially what the so-called stringers, get killed because those stringers up country tend to be a local business owner or local influential person, and they get into other trouble, and we don't quite know what they are killed for when they are being murdered. But not in Bangkok. We're not really. They just take you to jail for lese majeste, perhaps.
Lese majeste, or insulting the king, is an old law that's being used to control journalists, bloggers and public speaking. Sulai Sivaraska, at 78, has been a voice of dissent for many years and fell foul of these laws after giving a lecture at his university.
You see, in this country, people feel that, oh, this is the land of smile, Buddhist land. But in fact, the class conflict in this country is very strong, very hierarchical. And not only that, this country is also racist. You don't realize that. The Northeastern, we call them Lao. They are inferior race. How can you believe in that? The Malay, we call them the Khek, inferior race. And the king tried to please them. He called them Thai Muslim. But they don't want to become Thai. They are Malay Muslim. Why don't we call them Malay Muslim? And our brother, Malay. And we are still the only country. We salute the flag every morning at 8 o'clock and every evening at 6 o'clock. If you don't salute the flag, you could be put in jail. The same with the national anthem. Every bloody cinema and so on, you have to stand up for the royal anthem. And recently, a couple refused to stand. They were charged for lese majeste. The case is still going on.
I'm standing in the doorway on this train, which is taking us with the red shirts, and I'm pretty close to the doorway, but there are 3 other people sitting on the steps of the open doorway in front of me here, and it's just started to rain. It's absolutely pouring down now. But nothing will douse the enthusiasm of this crowd. You can hear the cheers, you can hear the singing. People are cheering and waving as we pass.
We have high level of political mobilization. What is lacking is civilized political dialogue. You see, media is very important and we fail. You see, we try to be in between report and then, the government said we're going to do that. A lot of time through media negotiation. My goodness, Thailand is pretty open. Is there any other country like Thailand where you have all the major human rights organizations, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, every day point to the finger to the Thai government. My God, you violate human rights, you violate press freedom. Another journalist was in jail. You bad, you better do something. And the Thai government, okay, tell us more. We will try to do what you want us to do. But you stay, okay? We don't kick you out. The government should do more, but the government cannot do more because they have other issues. Economics, the disparities between the rurals and the urban. My God. And you put this into perspective. Media freedom is part of this priority. It cannot supersede other issues.
That's the sound of a newspaper editor negotiating an element of free speech. Thai politics are less than stable. There's a powerful billionaire ex-president, Thaksin Shinawatra. Some of you might remember him for his brief purchase of Manchester City Football Club in Britain. Thaksin was deposed in a military coup in 2006 and prosecuted for corruption. He's now in exile and wanting to come back and fight another election. Loosely speaking, his often rural, more working-class supporters are red shirts. The urban upper classes, royalists, and the current political party are yellow shirts. And finally, in this summary of a complicated politics, there's the king, Bhumibol Adulyadej, who's highly respected on all sides, but at 83 years old and not in the best of health, well, without him, anything might happen.
I'm afraid violence will take place again. And right now, we still have emergency orders. And it means that the military has more power than the civilians. And this country is very good at window dressing. We fool the foreigners for so long, and now we are fooling ourselves.
The place where people really are having a say is in community radio, which has played a big part in the organisation and reporting of demonstrations. There are literally hundreds of small radio stations jostling for position on the airwaves across the country. It's people power in action, something that media analyst Ubanrat Siddhayusawak has studied closely.
They're so hungry for relevant information to be acknowledged that they have the same information service, to have the same kind of dignity.